Hi guys, I'm doing a makeup video today and I am a little bit inspired by one of the palettes that I've been using for most of 2019, even though it's only like 2 months. But I have been using up a lot of samples, a lot of minis, just getting a lot of stuff out of my collection that I've had for a while, and it's really sort of inspiring me to do a products I've hit pan on. Now I'm just going to do products that I've actually hit pan on. I'm not going to do lipsticks or glosses or anything because you haven't seen my progress and you wouldn't be able to tell. But this stuff you can actually tell, and because of this palette, I have been using up a lot of stuff in my collection. So this is the Anastasia Tamanna palette. This is the very first palette I ever bought. I went into Sephora and I bought this for $29. This is a 10 shade eyeshadow palette. I bought this in October of 2014. If I can find a picture of what it looked like when I bought it, I will put that up here or somewhere. Anyway, I have loved this palette for a long time. I bought it specifically for one shade. I bought this at a time when I was a very different type of makeup user. I had a lot of Chanel quads. I didn't understand the need for a palette. And then over the years I've just changed my mind about that. But this is the palette that made me fall in love with Anastasia shades. Now, October 2014, maybe I shouldn't be using it. It's obviously expired. I'm still using it on my eyes because I have not experienced any problems with it. However, I mean, that's up to you to decide what you want to do with your old palettes. So I just wanted to hit pan on every shade in this palette, and I have. So I'm really excited about that. Let me show you what it looks like. So as you can see, I have complete pan on 5 of these shades, and then I've hit pan on another 5. So this is the very first shade. This is the shade Fresh. I completely emptied this out like 2 or 3 years ago. This has been gone for a really long time. The second one I hit pan on was Blush, and I've totally emptied that out. That one, so this one was that beautiful sort of matte shade that I used to set my primer with. It's also in the Sultry palette? Yeah, it's in the Sultry palette. It's in the Sultry palette. So both Fresh and Noir, there's sort of white matte and white matte and black matte shades are both also in the Sultry palette. Fresh was this beautiful sort of champagne blush shimmer that I used up. That was the second shade that I completely used up. And then, let's see, this shade right here, China Rose. If I can find a picture of the single, I will put that up here. This shade is what I bought the palette for. I absolutely fell in love with this shade. It's this beautiful rosy peachy shimmer that just looks so beautiful on the eyes. It has made me fall in love with like every sort of shimmer that's got the name Rose in it from Anastasia. I might end up getting a single of this at some point, but it was absolutely beautiful, and I was actually really sad. It was one of the reasons I didn't want to pan this at first, was because I didn't want to lose that shade, but then I realized, well, if it expires and then I can't use it, that's kind of a waste. Just have fun putting it on your eyes. So I did. And then for 2019, I decided that I wanted to hit pan on all of the shades in this palette, and I wanted to clean out a couple of shades, and so I cleaned out the color Venice, or Venezia. I think this is the same as Venice that they currently sell. It might be a little bit different. So maybe they introduced it in this palette and then turned it into a single and then renamed it. I don't know. But it was this beautiful aqua colored, sort of duochrome shade. I mean, it wasn't my favorite blue shade. You would think that because it was blue it would be my favorite, but it was not my favorite. It just didn't have a lot of lasting power. And I had to use it with a lot of different products to get it to really show up. But eventually, this year in January, I did use it up, which was awesome because I was using the heck out of it in December. So finally, that went away. again, a little bit sad about that, but because it's my first palette, but just also kind of happy to get it out of my collection. And then recently, just a couple of days ago, I finished up Bengal, which is a beautiful, I think they call it a satin online, but I feel like it's one of those beautiful mattes. Thank you, neighbor. Okay, so my neighbor just started shoveling, so there's that. But yeah, this is one of those beautiful crease shades that I love to use for my particular skin tone. Just really sort of orangey, I call it peanut buttery, a little bit of orange, a little bit of brown, beautiful shade that I love. And sad to see it go, but it also kind of took a while. It kind of stuck around in the edges of the pan for a while, but finally it is gone. Now I am currently working on Gilded Custom and Chocolate. I really do like Chocolate, also one of my favorite shades. Between Bengal and Chocolate, I've learned how to do a crease and an outer V, so this palette has been super helpful for learning how to just use a palette and use shades in general. I decided that the only two pans that I didn't have pan on were these shades right here, Sangria and Noir. Now Noir is a black matte. I have tortured this shade in many ways. I have used it a lot with Fix Plus and other setting sprays as a liner, and I stopped doing that recently because the shade is just completely destroyed, and I've just been using it dry as a liner. But as you can see, I've been able to hit pan on that, and so I'm super excited about that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it up, but I do try to use it in the outer V every once in a while with this color Sangria. And Sangria I just hit pan on also last week. This week? Last week? This week, I think. I don't know. I just hit pan on both of these shades this week when I'm filming this. So you can see right there is pan in there. Now this one is a really pretty shade. It's a really pretty purpley, they call it wine, what do they call it? I don't know. They would describe it in a certain way on the Anastasia website, but I find this to be a really pretty shade, just sort of to accent. I don't really love it all over the lid. It works really good with the color Custom, which is a little bit more brown. Gilded worked really well with Venezia. But lately, if I just want a really easy look, I use, well, for now I can't use Bengal, so I've been using a Makeup Geek Frappe shade in the crease, and I put this in the outer V, and then I will put this on the lid, and then I will use this for liner. So I've been able to, as you can see, I've hit, pan here on the side. This one, these two are pretty loose because they're both shimmers, so I should be able to finish them up, and it's not like I hate them or anything. So anyway, I am super proud of the way that I've been able to hit pan on all 10 shades in this palette. Again, it's the first palette I've ever bought for myself. Again, it is from October 2014, so it has taken me over 4 years to get through, well, not even finish this palette. So that just tells you, I mean, people say Anastasia shades are easy to pan. I don't know. So another shade that I have hit pan on really fast, like this was like super lightning fast, is the Wet n Wild single in Brûlée. I know that Jessica Braun talks about this shade all the time. This is the first little one that I bought of these, but I do go through shades like this. This is a lot like the shade Fresh from Anastasia, but this is how quickly I bought this just a few months ago. I might have bought it in October or November, but look at that. Like that, I mean, I just use a big fluffy brush and set. I don't even set my entire lid anymore. I just set up along the brow bone, but look at all of that. I mean, that's gone. And this is a really good deal. I bought it for 99 cents. I think it has recently gone up in price. I think it's now like $1.20, $1.50, depending on where you can find it. But still like a pretty good deal, especially for these shades, which for my needs, I will use this every day to set, and so comes in handy. Then I have another Wet n Wild product here, and this is a quad, one of the new quads that they released in the redesigned packaging. I actually got this one in a Target beauty box, And this is when it was brand new, it was, well, I don't know if the quad was brand new, but when they first released it, it was called Sweetest Candy. And it's got 2 browns and a pink shimmer, and it's got one of these shimmery white shades on it. And so I know a lot of people, when they got this Target box, this thing came shattered. It did not for me, so I've been able to use it. But as you can see, I've used up quite a bit of that white shimmer shade. As you can see, this is what it looks like. Just a nice shimmer shade. I will use this. I don't mind using a shimmer shade to set. I do like a bit of illumination on my eyes just because they are so deeply set. So, and as you can see, I've got quite a big dip on this one too. I've used this quite a bit. I really do enjoy it. It's very basic, and that is absolutely fine. So this is Sweetest Candy from Wet n Wild. Now, these 3 are all products that I have bought in the last year, and I've hit pan on all of them. So I'm going to start with one of my favorites. Obviously, these are some of my favorites because I use them all the time. But this is the Master Chrome from Maybelline. This is the one in Molten Rose Gold 050. The actual lid has come off completely, so the packaging isn't incredibly great, but if you can see, this is an absolutely gorgeous highlight. I'm wearing it on my face today, and if you do the swatches, you can do a really heavy swatch and it looks like, oh my goodness, just so beautiful. I love it. It's very peachy, pinky, almost has a shift to it, which you won't be able to see on here, but it does sort of go from peach to pink. I adore this shade. I love the texture of it. It's beautiful. I can use it with almost any kind of highlighter brush, and as you can see, we have a good relationship. The next one is the Catrice Strobing blush. This is in 010 Mrs. Summer Peach, and it's just sort of a blend of different shimmer shades. It is a shimmery blush, and I am wearing it today. I do like a shimmer blush. The one from the Casey Holmes palette, the Physicians Formula Copper Cabana, is, well, this is definitely lighter, but I do enjoy that one too because it has a shimmer and you can deepen it up. But this is it. You can see it's got 4 different colors in it, from darker to lighter, and as you can see, it just turns into this beautiful, like, shimmery, try not to do it over the eyeshadow, but there it is. If you really want to build it up, you can. As you can see, I really do like it. I think it works really well with my undertone. I love peachy blushes. That's just a thing for me, so I am so excited. I don't think a lot of people hit pan on a blush, and I'm not like a huge blush person, but I really do like this one, and I'm super excited that look at that. Shiny, shiny, blind you. Ah. And then this one I am excited but also kind of sad about because it was expensive and I was really excited about it, and it is a really beautiful summer bronze for me, and that is the Anastasia bronzes that they introduced last year. I think it was with their spring collection when the Soft Glam came out. But this is the color Rosewood, and just look at that beautiful, like, Anastasia logo packaging. I love these so much, and this is, I have hit pan on this bronzer. Like, I don't think it's impossible. I think a lot of people have hit pan on their bronzer. I know a lot of people have used up their butter bronzer and things like that, but this one is just, I have never hit pan on a bronzer before, so this was really special to me because I love this so much and I use it so much. Especially when I bought it in spring and into summer. I have not used it very, very much. I've been using more of a lighter tone. I've been using either my number 7 in Caramel, which I don't know why I haven't hit pan on that. I think I'm really close, but I just can't. And then I've been using the Physicians Formula one, again, that I got in the Casey Holmes, which is deep bronze, I think. And this is the swatch. And it's definitely got like a deeper red tone to it. It is more like one of those sunburnt colors. This is, I think, the lightest shade that they have in bronze. very pigmented on me. I love it in the summer. It just gives me that all over. Like, I don't contour with it, but it just gives me a little bit of depth to my face around the edges, which I really like. So I am super excited about the pan on this. Also, it was the first bronzer that really made me like bronzing, because I do like Anastasia products so much. So now I have a couple of Colourpop Super Shock shadows. Now I realize these might kind of not count just because of their texture. They are a little bit easy to hit pan on, although I do have ones older than this that I have not hit pan on, but I do use them with my fingers. So as you can see, I have these two right here. One is from the My Little Pony collection, which has been out for a while, but I don't know that I've had this maybe a year, maybe a little bit over a year, I'm not sure. And then this one was from their spring collection last year. So let's start with the My Little Pony one. You can see the beautiful logo, and this is the purpley one in Sunbeam. And as you can see, maybe you can't, there's a little bit of pan in there. Right there, right there. And this is a really glittery, sort of multi-glittery shade. Let's see here. You can see there's a lot of shimmer to it. When you use this on your eyes, I do get anyway, quite a bit of fallout, just because the glitter is a bit chunkier, I think, as you can see right there. And then when you can see there, right there, but I have hit a little bit of pan there you can see it right there. There you can see it. And mine isn't dried out. It doesn't smell particularly awful or anything. I've used it several times on my eyes, and it's just got this really pretty blue to purple sheen on it that I really like for the summer. So, and then I have again, this is from the spring collection. This is the duochrome teal in Superfly. And as you can see, I've got pan right there. You can see this is another one that's sort of a purple to blue duochrome, but more along the peacock teal spectrum. So let's see if I can... As you can see, it swipes very, very purple, but you can deepen it up to more of... As you can see, it's shifty, it's kind of blue there, it's kind of purple there, it's kind of almost pink here, but you can deepen it up. And so you can see the shift there when you do build it up. So this is a really gorgeous duochrome. So again, it just depends on whether you think it's legit to hit pan on a Colourpop shadow because of the way that they are formulated, but I am super excited that I actually have hit pan on this. I wasn't intending to do that on either of these, it just sort of happened. But, you know, with the way that you can build them up, I think, you know, that's totally legit. Some of the other ones that I have are a little bit more, they're not duochromy, they're a little bit, you don't have to build them up, they're more of like toppers. So I can see why I haven't hit pan on those yet, but yeah. And then I'm going to show you one of my messy palettes. Again, this is sort of, I don't know if this counts or not, but this is a product that I have been using for a couple of years. I might have gotten this in 2015 or 2014, I don't know. But this is the brow product. You can just ignore all of these. These are just depotted shadows here. This is a depotted brow product from Bodyography. I got this in a BoxyCharm a few years ago. And as you can see, it's got 3 shades, and I've hit pan on 2 of them. So this blonder shade and this browner shade. Haven't really made much progress on this one. But I use this quite a bit. This is the first product that sort of got me into brow products and doing my brows. Not using it so much right now. I'm using more of the sort of, I've got one from LA Girl and one from Wet n Wild that are sort of more in the style of the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I love the Brow Wiz. I especially love the Caramel Brow Wiz, but it's $21. And I can't, you know, for the amount that I use up in like a month, I can't afford to do that every month. But this is more, when I use this, I get more of like the mono brow, sort of blocked out brow, as opposed to when I use a pencil, and I think it looks a little bit more natural. I don't know, you tell me. But I like the way this looks. But I do like the colors of these. They're very cool toned, and I mix them, you know, I tend to mix them, and they work for me. I'm gonna get into some more eyeshadow palettes. And two of these I bought, or I got at the same time. I got two of these at Christmas in 2016. This is the Cargo Cosmetics Last Jedi palette, the light side, the Star Wars palette. And my sister got this for me for Christmas in December 2016, and I really enjoyed using it when I was using it. I've not been using it so much lately just because I've been focusing on Anastasia shades and other shades, the Colourpop shades. But I still do really like this palette. The formula is definitely harder, like it's harder. I wouldn't say chalky, it is a little bit harder, obviously, compared to some of the other formulas. They're not as smooth, but it is a beautiful palette. And as you can see, I've hit pan right here. This is, I believe, episode 1. Episode 1. Roman numeral 1. And this is all just sort of sticky hard pan there. This is pretty much just all pan. So that is, and this is a shimmery shade. It almost has, it's developed quite a bit of hard pan on it, but it's almost got a duochrome peachiness to it. As you can see, it's getting pretty hard to pick up on the brush. Let's see if I can get some up here. And it looks really powdery on the finger, but as soon as you swatch it, I can't even really get it to show up at this point, but I do use this. When I do use this palette, I will use it to set a shade. And I think maybe you can see, nah. I can very faintly see a little bit of a pink shimmer here. It's not going to catch up on camera, but you know. And I absolutely I adore this shade right here, episode 3. That's one of my favorite shades in this palette. Need to start using this again. Yeah, actually this is not even, I mean, it's a year old, but I've had it since December 2017, and so I think that's pretty good, and I do need to use this palette more because I really do enjoy the color. I know it's super neutral, but I really do enjoy the color scheme in this. The other one that I got for Christmas in December 2017 was the Modern Renaissance. You can see how dirty it is, and you can see I am one of the newbies to the group because I don't have the original with the big A logo on it. I just have the one that matches all the other Anastasia palettes in this format. So this is my Modern Renaissance. I wanted this. I was ambivalent about it for a while just because I had my favorite Anastasia palette, which was the Tamanna palette, but people just kept hyping this and saying what a must-have this was for your collection. And I'm like, well, I love Anastasia products. I think I've said Anastasia 100 times in this video by now. Not apologizing, I really like them. But I got this one, and I have hit pan on one shade in here. Again, I understand that Anastasia shades, especially this formula, are not that hard to hit pan on. But again, I have seen women with this in the original packaging, with the original logo, in their collection, and they've decluttered it, and they have not even hit pan on one eyeshadow, and then people talk about how much they love it, and they show it, and it's not barely been touched, and I'm like, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. It's permanent. I'm not gonna loot, you know. I don't know. Anyway, so I've hit pan on this shade right here, which is, well, that shade is Venetian Red, which is another one of my favorite shades, but this is Antique Bronze. You can see I've made quite a dent in there. I have a complicated relationship with this shadow. I love the color of it. I love the way, I actually have it on the outer V of my eyes. I use it to deepen up the darker outer V shades. I really want to use it on the lid, but when you use it on the lid, it just doesn't build up. So it's a little bit, you can see it's a little bit crumbly in there because I've doused it with Fix Plus just to get it to stay. I do want to try the Anastasia glitter glue to see how that works with that. So I will try that eventually, but right now I just like to use it just to sort of smoke out a more natural eye look. I absolutely adore this shade. I'm getting colors and colors and colors all over now, but that's okay. Let's see here. And as you can see, that is what it looks like It's more sheer, but it has this beautiful shimmer to it. I just wish it showed up like this on the lid. It just doesn't when you put it on the more mobile lid. It looks really beautiful to deepen up shades, but it just does not, it doesn't look like this on your lid, and I want it to look like this, and it doesn't. But I do love the shade. I think it's super beautiful, super unique, and I'm very close to hitting on Vermeer. I've got a nice dip in there. Vermeer is like also one of my favorite shades. I can't decide between Venetian Red and Antique Bronze and Vermeer, which one is my favorite. So I know a lot of people love Love Letter. I'm not super into like pretty pinks, so I mean it's just sort of a more of a workman-like shade for me. And then a lot of people tend to like hit pan on these really easily. I have a lot of shades like this, so I will use them if I'm using this palette, but I will specifically go into this palette for these shades right here. So Modern Renaissance. And my absolutely favorite palette right here, which is the Soft Glam from Anastasia. When this came out, so many people were disappointed in the color scheme, and I could totally see that, but I also looked at it and went, that is absolutely gorgeous. That is so beautiful. I can do all kinds of looks with that, and I have. I've said this before, I've taken this on a 3-week trip to Europe with me. I actually took this and the Tamanna palette together so I could use up some of my Bengal and chocolate shades, and then I did also use a bunch of Venezia when I was there. And so this one I've used the heck out of it, and I've hit pan on one shade, and I've had this since spring of 2018, so a little less than a year. And I have hit pan on Rose Pink. And as I said before, I am in love with Anastasia shades that have the name Rose in them. So these sort of, as I said before, I'm not into like pinky matte shades like this. I mean, this is like red, and it's just like a little too intense for me, a little too pinky for me, but this is just like a beautiful, natural, shimmery pink that I can put all over the eyes. It blends beautifully, and I love it. And so you can see, let's see if I can get a nice swatch here. That is what it looks like on the finger. It's very, very chunky, but it just, see that? It just blends out into this beautiful peachy pink shade. A little bit dirty, a little bit just very shiny and shimmery and just super beautiful. So let's see, I love the color Fairy, and I love the color Glistening. Another reason I bought this palette. The color Tempera, I've obviously used quite a bit to set, and that has a dip, although not as much as a dip as like the one in, I think the Modern Renaissance has a little bit of a deeper dip in it, just because I've had it for longer. Hard to tell. Anyway, and then I need to use this section more. I really enjoy this color Bronze. I think it's super beautiful. And then Mulberry and Cypress Umber and Noir and Rustic. I need to use these more maybe in the fall, but I love this side of the palette more just because it's like super airy and beautiful, and I really love those kind of looks. Again, with my deep set eyes, I like to get more of like a shimmer look going on. I'm actually wearing Modern Renaissance on my eyes today, so I'm wearing Vermeer and a little bit of Cypress Umber covered up with Antique Bronze, and then I think some Burnt Orange and some Raw Sienna in the crease. So those are the products I have hit pan on. You can see how much I really enjoy those shades. Let me know if you're working to pan something, or if you've panned something unintentionally, or you know, if there's just some like workhorse products in your collection that you really, really enjoy. I have a pretty broad spectrum, I think. Bronzer, blush, highlight, eyeshadow, brow products, you know, so I think this is a really good mix, and a lot of this stuff I've had for a while, but I feel safe putting them on my eyes. Again, that's up to you. If you don't feel safe putting something on your eyes, you feel like it's too old, nothing wrong with going ahead and throwing it out. I think that's totally legit. I just feel like for my purposes, everything has worked out. If I didn't feel safe putting it on my eyes, I would get rid of it though. So when I don't feel safe putting this on my eyes anymore, I will get rid of it. Again, with this shade, I have done all kinds of damage to it. So far, it's not doing anything bad to my eyes, but I don't think I'm going to be able to fully pan this just because it's got hard pan, it's got sparkle in it, it's just got all kinds of issues. So I think I will just sort of work on this one and these ones, and might keep this one around to use with Modern Renaissance, but I feel like this one will probably just get tossed at some point. And that's okay, because it's gotten a ton of use. And you don't necessarily have to pan your products to get good use out of them. I mean, that's a good indicator of how much you've used them, but again, it's all up to personal preference, and preferences change. I mean, some of these palettes I've had for quite a while, some of these palettes I have not had for quite a while, and I've had other palettes that I've barely touched. So it's really just about personal preference when it comes to makeup. And don't ever let anybody make you feel like if you haven't hit pan on something that, you know, you have to use it, or, you know, even if you hate it. I mean, makeup is so personal, and in the end, it's makeup. It's not like food. It's not like, I don't know. People tend to take it so seriously and like you're being wasteful. It's just makeup. So don't let anybody shame you. I think as women we get shamed a lot for the things that we like, and makeup is temporary. It wipes off at the end of the day and it goes bad, and just decide for yourself. And don't let anybody shame you for the things you like. If you like beautiful colorful looks, do that. If you like beautiful neutral looks, if you like both, if you like a mix, do that. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.